Welcome to Movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. The Beekeeper is the name of the movie. Please like and subscribe to get every update. Shouted a few days ago, a beekeeper named Adam Clay woke up a little to prepare to collect a hive. During this time, he met Eloise Parker, his elderly neighbor. Eloise was the beehive is intrigued and asks about Clay's intentions even though he is a private person. Clay respectfully conveyed that the matter involved him and the bees. Eloise showed kindness when the neighbor respected his privacy. Clay seized the moment and expressed gratitude to him upon realizing that she is the only person who had cared for him in recent years to be moved by his words. She appreciated that feeling and invited him to dinner before departing. Clay then proceeded to stun the bees to move. The same time, Eloise, who was using her computer, received a text message reporting a technical problem, unaware of the impending scam she had engaged in with an individual named Boy, unintentionally paving the way for the news hacker despite limited computer knowledge. Eloise followed the boy's instructions because she was afraid of losing her data. He prevented her from contacting the bank. Story about potential job loss and family responsibilities affected by Ms. Eloise's story revealed her bank password containing money for a program to help disadvantaged children return to school learn within seconds. Her bank account was empty and scammers took advantage of the ill-gotten gains Eloise had taken. Disappointed and desperate, she realized she had been scammed after completing her clay work on the way home. Eloise's house. When he arrived, he noticed smoke and a noisy smoke detector. He discovered Eloise dead with a gunshot wound. Verona's daughter Eloise and a police officer found Clay at the scene and overpowered him. Clay expressed regret and clarified that he had been invited to dinner. Investigators ruled it a suicide, but Verona insisted on questioning Clay while examining Eloise's belongings. Verona discovered his empty bank account on his laptop the next day. Clay is proven innocent and is sent home. Verona sees this, so she follows him to his workplace. She immediately apologized to him, to which Clay responded and said he understood her reaction. Verona then invites him out for coffee. While drinking coffee, Verona shares that her brother, who was in the army, died many years ago. Before that, she also shared with him that her mother is an educator and director of a charity organization that specializes in helping children who cannot afford to go to school. Finally, Verona tells Clay the reason why his mother committed suicide. She tells Clay that she discovered her mother's bank account sucks. She was also looking at websites on her mother's laptop and was sharing information with him. She said she thought her mother had been scammed, which made her desperate. Clay was touched by what she shared, so he immediately asked to leave and said he had to attend with bees. He went straight to the beehive and took a transmitter from it. He activated it and spoke to an agent. She told him she thought he was retired and ignored what she said. Clay asks him to find out the whereabouts of the fraudulent company that Verona told him about. Later that day, he arrived at the business with 2 gas tanks in both hands. Security stopped him and told him it was private property. He became brutal with them and told them he would burn the company down. The guards try to pull out their guns, but Clay is too fast for them. He easily knocks them out and heads inside the main office. He gets their attention and tells them to repeat after him, "I promise not to take advantage of others." Scammers make it fun for him to think he's joking when they see they don't take him seriously. Clay hit one of the crooks with his phone and punched him in the face several times. The crook stopped in fear and repeated what he said and told them to escape because he would burn the place down. He continues to empty the gas tank as he pours it on their computer. The boy, whose true identity is Garnett, appears in the scene with some guards. He angrily confronts Clay and orders the guards subdue him, but Clay is so good. He defeats them one by one without using a single gun. He then gives Garnett a chance to escape by saying that the bombs he is about to set would explode when the alleged victim called them clay tablets in time before the call came through, and the entire building exploded immediately after the incident. Garnett informed his boss Derek Danforth, who became angry with the bad news. He went directly to Wallace West, a high-ranking CIA official. He tells him what happened when lying that one of his friends got his call center company burned down. He tries to convince him to work himself and find the culprit, but he refuses to use his powers. Later that day, Verona receives a call from her partner WY, who informs her about the incident regarding her mother's case that she is about to attend at the crime scene, and watched as the entire building burned down while Garnett and some of his men took revenge. They went to Clay's bee farm, destroyed several of his hives, and knocked down a cabinet full of honey armed with guns. Garnett called arrogantly from the clay. As they searched for him, they saw his silhouette and shot at him without realizing. He snuck up behind one of them and wrapped the chain around his neck. One by one he killed Garnett's men. Leave him alone. He saw the fate of his men, so he cowered in fear and hid to Clay while walking. Turning around begging for his life, Clay held his hand and pushed it towards the steel cutter. All the fingers on his right hand left his hand. He screamed and was in pain as Clay left him behind. Meanwhile, Verona becomes tense with one of the scam company's employees. W.Y. intervened and reminded her of human civil rights, so after a while she stopped. Garnett left and had trouble calling his boss because his finger was cut off. Derek is cut. At this point, Mast initially thought that Garnett had called him to tell him that he had done well, but Garnett apologized and informed him that they had failed to kill him. Derek asks his identity, but all Garnett knows is that he is a beekeeper, and he hoarded honey while reporting that Clay appeared and hit him in the face. Garnett offers to give Clay money and cryptocurrency. Unfortunately for him, Clay doesn't want his money but his life. He tied the man up with a long seat belt attached to his car, started the car, and Garnett was dragged into the Clay lake, then took Garnett's phone and threatened Dirk to burn it like what he did to his business and hung up. Derek worries that Clay is not a normal person. He went to West Wild and lied about his business and told him it was a data mining company. West Wild saw everything Clay did and immediately came to a conclusion. He told Derek that during his years of service in the CIA, he knew for sure that Derek had the wrong person. He added that he drowned because he disturbed the beekeeper. He also made it clear that he helped him simply because his mother, who helped him a lot, he just wanted to keep his reputation, which is why he suffered from Derek's crimes. What he did in the past, Dirk was trying to get revenge on, so he told him that he was just scared to make an excuse. Surprisingly, West Wild admits it and says that Dirk should be scared at the police station too. Verona and W.Y. discuss the incidents involving Verona's call center and are eager to carry out a follow-up investigation to take over their headquarters. While she eagerly discusses the incident, her partner W.Y. paid little attention. They also tried to get information about Clay, but found nothing other than his birth certificate. Suddenly, a call came in to W.Y. announcing that they had found Garnett's body. Meanwhile, news of the Clay reaches Jessica Danforth, Derek's mother, the former CEO of Danforth Enterprise, whom she approached in West Wild and who owes her money. Jessica then tells West Wild to protect her. Her son Derek left without any choice. West Wild accepted what she wanted and finally took action. He immediately contacted Janet, a high-ranking CIA official. He announced to inform her about the situation and asked for her help in taking down the beekeeper. On the other hand, Verona and W.Y. arrive at the crime scene and see Garnett's dead body. When observing his body, they noticed that his right hand had had all its fingers severed after a period of time. Wild contact in the West. Janet was confused again. Janet asks why Clay, a former Special Forces agent known as the Beekeeper, is becoming a problem. She told West Wild to calm down and reassure himself because she had contacted Ed, the current beekeepers, to take care of him, were always worried and scared. West Wild tells her that the current beekeepers are not the same as the original beekeepers, which she confirms, and contacts one of them to put an end to the Clay. While Clay gets gas, a car crashes in the back of him. A woman with an M4A1 shot mercilessly at his car, but when she checked inside the car, she found no one. Looking for him at the gas station but looking for the wrong person, she saw a police car preparing to respond, so she blocked bullets at the police car and ended up killing the police. Clay sees an opportunity and takes it. He attacks him with a gas pump gun. She tries to attack him with a knife, but the Clay is too good for her as he pulls out his backup gun. Clay disappears from her sight. She gets angry, so she gets in the back of her truck and uses the Gatling gun, which she shoots aimlessly, and the reckless Clay calmly goes back to his truck and gets a jar of honey. He threw it so violently in her face that she was knocked out just by smashing a jar of honey to knock the woman out. He lit a lighter and threw it at the woman. She screamed in pain as she tried to crawl to put out the fire. Clay went to his burning corpse and then cut off her finger. West Wild receives a call from Janet, who informs her that the problem remains unresolved. West Wild says it's obvious. However, one of the dealers supporting them with Intel, Vicky, will now remain neutral. Janet then tells him that he is alone now. Hearing this, he was both angry and pressured. The next day, Verona and W.Y. arrive at the scene of another crime committed by Clay. They found a Gatling gun used by the female beekeeper and a book about bees. Meanwhile, the Wild West used a different way to get Clay. Downstairs, he holds a meeting with the old SEALs and Rangers. He then tells them about the secret beekeeping program, an extra-systemic mechanism whose sole mission is to keep the nation safe. Beekeepers are given all the resources they need and the power to do it. Acting on their own judgment, they go undercover, keeping their identities secret. Then he displays Clay's information on the screen, and finally West Wild informs them that the beekeepers are trying not to stand out, so they will have to wait for surprise attacks. One of them said that he liked it. However, West Wild completely disagreed and said that they were nowhere near the beekeepers, but if they fought him as a group, then they might have a chance at the police station. Verona reads a book about bees which says that there are some species of bees called queen bees, who would kill their queen if they found their children incompetent. While Verona was discussing the bees, they received a call informing them that the assistant director of public relations wanted to talk to them, while Clay went to their old seat and used the finger he had cut to get in. On the way back, Verona and W.Y. finally meet Prick during their meeting. Verona informed them about Clay getting straight to the point and told them that his next target would be Ninth Star United, another call center with the same function as before. Finally, the PRI also recognized his request to approve his need for a monitoring and analysis team. The director of the next scam call center was Rico Anzalone, another arrogant scammer. Information about United's Ninth Star spread, and the FBI's mission to search the building and arrest Clay was stopped by a group of mercenaries hired by West Wild. The mercenaries go inside to try to stop the crooks and find Clay. Rico then talk to their leader and take the mercenaries' leader to the office, while outside Clay tries to told the FBI about another person going in the back and cooperating with them. But the leader, thinking he was just a civilian, ordered his subordinates to hold him back. Clay suddenly broke his arm. FBI cover around him are full of heavy armor trying to subdue him, but Clay is a monster, so he eliminates them all. At the same time, he takes one of them hostage, so they stop the fire inside Rico's office, taunts the boss, and contacts Derek. When Derek answers the call, he scolds the man and tells him that West Wild is his subordinate as they prepare to leave to set up an outer perimeter. Clay appeared among the criminals and caused a commotion. The mercenaries saw him and tried to kill him with a hail of bullets. Clay escapes and attacks some of them from above. He ambushed the remaining mercenaries and killed 3 of them who were controlling their leader's target. The 2 get into a confrontation and Clay finishes him off with fire. Verona fire extinguisher and SWAT team arrive while Clay sets a trap. The last wave of mercenaries tried to take him down, but he lured them into the elevator and finished them all off with a trap. He then went straight to Rico and interrogated him using a stapler. He tries to get information out of him by torturing him using a stapler. Finally, Rico confesses and shows him a photo of Derek, saying he is untouchable. Clay realizes that he is the son of a very powerful and influential man, but the Beekeepers are trained to act on his own free will so that Clay is not influenced by any tricks. He says that there is no such untouchable person as the Queen Killer. He will kill the Queen if it turned out that her descendants had defects. Verona finally arrived, so he immediately escaped. WY was separated from the team and kicked ES when Clay ambushed him. He begged for his life and said he had 4 children. Clay takes away the gun and leaves to investigate Verona, and WY is shocked to see a laptop with Derek's picture on it. In an expensive hotel, West Wild receives another call informing him that all of his mercenaries are dead. He apologizes and tells Derek that it's time they asked Jessica to help them. A shocking development occurs when Jessica answers her son's call and reveals herself to be the President of the United States, while Verona and WY report to Prig and announce Derek Danforth's visit. Verona added that Jessica Danforth's reputation was tarnished when they discovered the campaign funds came from her son's company. The PRI was stressed by the report and told them not to tell anyone about the classified information. Verona also added that he thinks Clay's next target is the presidency. The next day, the 2 arrived at the Danforth estate. In the compound, a group of private police armed with heavy weapons roamed the room. Derek West Wild and Lazarus is a devoted man. To protect them, he was hired for killing a beekeeper before DK continued his arrogance. Lazarus heard this and told him he was just lucky and showed him his right steel leg. A while later, the president came to the mansion and took some Clay. Acting like that, he came out from the sewer. He excelled and escaped from the manhole when there was a car above him. He hid underneath trying to sneak in. Security became strict important, so every part of the vehicle entering the estate is inspected as an agent checks the undercarriage. Clay tries to silence him and disguises himself as a Secret Service agent in the estate room while drinking coke. His mother came and the 2 talked without knowing about her son's actions. She checks on him and reassures him that she will take care of him while Clay keeps moving. He puts bombs in different cars and changes outfits inside the compound. A party is going on, so he mingled with them at the party. Verona and WY see the PRI talking to President Jessica, are wary of the situation, bringing Derek and the PR into the PR room, then start asking Derek some questions about his relationship with the groups involved in the case scam while they are being interrogated. Verona saw Clay. She immediately went to the guard and followed him, but she ended up going to the wrong person, Lazarus, and Verona caught him. They didn't know Clay had a plan in mind. He knelt down and put his hands on his head as Verona was about to stop him. Lazarus pointed his gun at him and intended to execute him once and for all. All West Wild looked at him and signaled him to execute Clay. Verona saw what he was about to do, so she tried to stop him, but he couldn't be stopped. So when he was about to pull the trigger, Clay detonated the bomb set and STS was shot. He immediately took the gun from Lazarus and shot him in the mouth. He quickly eliminated the others and escaped. Verona and WY were shocked, so they did not take action. Lazarus, with a bullet in the mouth, is still alive in his room. Revealed that Jessica knew nothing about the call center scam her son was running. Dirk tries to find a solution, but his mother is very disappointed in him. Dirk went on to admit that he did what he did for her even though the PRI was there. Derek then tried unsuccessfully to convince his mother to take his side. Jessica then made a bold statement that she would tell everyone the truth even if it cost her everything she worked so hard for like crazy during that time. The impregnable and ferocious Clay takes down many enemies and advances. He was a killing machine that ran upstairs full of guards without breaking a sweat once he reached the room upstairs. Lazarus ambushes him and tries to overpower him with the power of the two exchanging blows, and Clay tries to stab him in the face. However, like a zombie, he resists such an attack in the fight. Lazarus stabbed him in the stomach. Clay pushed the knife at him and somehow turned the knife to his advantage. He stabbed him multiple times and robbed him of his brass knuckles. Lazarus has great endurance, so he had to endure many stabs and punches before he died. WY and Verona see what happened upstairs and describe it as if a tornado was passing through West Wild, then try to persuade him to change his mind as the conscience in the room. Derek panics and picks up a gun in a cupboard affected by coke. He accidentally shoots the prig. Clay broke in and Verona and WY also entered the room, witnessing this situation. Derek takes his mother hostage when Clay sees Derek about to pull the trigger and kill his mother. He shot him in the head and saved the president, then quickly jumped out the window to escape. Jessica saw her lifeless son and cried in pain as any mother would do at the end of the movie. Verona tails Clay as he escapes and stops her when she screams his name. Verona calls out Clay for not stopping her but expresses gratitude. She then slowly puts down the gun as a sign of respect. She looks at him as he jumps from the balcony and says goodbye to him. Clay goes to the beach and searches for his diving suit. Before the police see him, he dives into the ocean. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Leave a comment about your favorite movie and we will make it next. Thanks for watching.